How to love a man. Nobody said loving a man was easy. Whether he's your husband or a new boyfriend you're falling for, it's important to know how to make your man feel emotionally and physically satisfied while staying true to yourself at the same time. If you want to truly love a man, then you've got to know how to make him feel loved and appreciated while also respecting his independence and your own. If you want to know how to love a man and to make it last, see step 1 to be on your way. Being understanding. Respect his independence. Loving a man doesn't mean trying to do each and every last thing with him. In fact, if you really want to love a man, then you have to show it by letting him do his own thing once in a while. If he likes reading in his study or working on his carpentry skills in the garage, you don't have to hover around every 2 seconds asking what he's up to or if he needs anything. Sure, it's great to share interests with your loved one, but it's equally important to respect the fact that he'd like to do his own thing from time to time. If you really want to love a man, then you have to be able to tell when he really wants to be left alone. Leaving him alone when he just wants some peace is a way to show him your real love. Give him his guy time. If he's going out with the guys, then let him do his thing. Though he should go out boozing with his buddies without you every night in the week, every once in a while, a man needs to just unwind and hang out with a bunch of other men. There's nothing wrong with that, just like there's nothing wrong with the fact that you want time with your girlfriends. The next time he has guy time, don't be suspicious, call him a million times while he's out, or resent him for spending time with his friends. If you're cool with letting him hang out with his friends sometimes, then he'll appreciate you even more when he comes back to you. Obviously, this doesn't mean he should go womanizing and binge drinking with his rowdy friends every chance he gets. If this is the case, then you will have to have a talk with him. Avoid saying, "I told you so." If you're committed to always proving that you're right, then it won't get you very far in your relationship. Though sometimes it may be important to get your message across, it's not as important as being part of a positive, mutually beneficial relationship. Okay, so maybe your man was wrong about something, and he already feels bad about it. Ask yourself if it's worth it to say, "I told you so," and to make him look and feel like a bigger fool. If you really care for him, then you'll sympathize with him instead of making him feel worse. Sure, there are times when you really feel like getting your point across and want him to get the message so he doesn't make the same mistake again. That's okay, too, as long as you know how to pick your battles. Give him time to unwind. Sometimes a man may just need a little quiet time to himself. If he just got home from work, or you just got home and he seems like he's doing his own thing, you don't always have to start talking about everything and hanging out over a glass of wine. Though this is the way many women unwind, this is not the way that most men always like to relax, so you have to be understanding of the fact that he may just want a little quiet and some TV time to relax a bit. Sure, it's important to spend time together, but you should make him feel guilty if he needs some alone time. Try not to take it personally. Don't try to talk everything through. Yeah, many women like to sit and talk about all of their problems because they think that this is the best way to solve them. But not so with men. Though it's important to talk about the things that are bothering you, many men don't like to talk the second they are upset and need some time to think everything through on their own. If you know he's had a bad day or you're going through a rough patch, try giving it a little time instead of trying to talk it over the second that it happens. It may be your thing to talk about something the second it's happened, but you have to respect the fact that he may not want to talk right away. On the other hand, that doesn't mean you should never talk about your feelings. Really listen to him. An important part of loving a man is listening to what he has to say. You don't always have to be the one who is talking, telling him how much you love him, or starting a conversation about how his day went. If he's talking to you, then don't interrupt or wait for the time when you can say something. Hear him out, especially if he doesn't open up to you as often as you'd like. Once he's said his part, you'll have a sense of what he wants, either some advice or just a sympathetic ear. Listening is a skill that can be developed. Work on latching on to the details of what he says and mentioning them later. He'll be impressed by how much you care. Don't demean him. Though you don't have to make your man feel like a macho man or a superhero all the time, one of the worst things you can do is to make him feel like he's about 2 feet tall. Hold your tongue instead of calling him names or making him feel like a loser or a disappointment. You should especially hold off on saying anything demeaning to him in public or in front of your friends. If you're disappointed in how he acted, then you should have a productive discussion about it, instead of calling him names. Think about it, you wouldn't like him to demean you either, would you? Don't try to change him. Sure, you and your man can both benefit each other and make each other better people in the long run. But that doesn't mean you should be true to who each of you are and try to turn into completely different people. If you really love your man, then you have to accept him for who he is and stop trying to make him into someone else. You can certainly help him improve a few qualities, but on the whole, you should love him for who he is, not who you hope he will be. If you're trying to change him, he'll catch on to it fast, and will feel hurt, and like he's not good enough for you. Let him know what you're thinking. Remember that he's a man, not a mind reader. If you really want to love a man, then you have to give him something to work with. While you don't have to tell him about every little thing that made you upset, you should be able to tell him if something's on your mind. Women often get frustrated because men can't somehow divine what they're thinking at all times, and this can lead to nasty and pointless arguments. Spare him the hard work and tell him something if you feel strongly about it. Okay, so if you're clearly upset and he's completely oblivious, then you can get a little angry, but don't expect him to know every little thing on your mind. You don't know every little thing he's thinking, do you? Admit when you're wrong. This is another important aspect of showing a man that you love him. If you do, then you'll be able to suck up your pride and to tell him when you've made a mistake. Don't just hope that he forgets about it and still thinks you're perfect. No one is perfect when it comes to relationships, and it's best for you to tell him when you're wrong and to avoid doing it again, if you can. He'll appreciate your honesty, and will feel like you respect him more for it. Nobody said it was easy to say you're sorry, but the more you get in the habit of doing it, the easier it'll be.